everybody. Sorry. I was having a mindful moment here for just a second, just so you don't think I'm weird. This thing's filled with lavender. And so I was just having a moment with my little friend here. So anyway, it's very important to be mindful. And so today we're going to talk about the emotional backpack, mindfulness, and some simple self-care strategies involving mindfulness. So there I am. Here we are and ready. Okay. So, simple mindfulness practices and self-care and stress relief. They brought in a special speaker that talked to us about being mindful. I guess they're from Mindful Being Houston, and they had a little bit more information about it. If I find the pre and post test for this one, I don't think they had one, but I will double check into that. And so I'll send that or attach it as well. So mindfulness, it's training the mind to pay attention to the here and now with openness, curiosity, and kindness. So being mindful. So we think of traditional self-care as rest, relaxation, nutrition, connecting with people. Right now with COVID, this connection is very hard. Nutrition, we're probably eating out at home a lot more, which is probably a little bit better for us. But also if you're a social eater or anything like that, you're losing that connection with the nutrition as well. Relaxing, it's kind of hard to do, but hopefully you're getting some of that. And then the rest is very important to regenerate our mind and our body. So how does mindfulness work in the brain? So this is what I like to call with the kids the caveman brain back here. This is our basic functioning at the brainstem and all of the associated parts of the brain back there. This right here is the thinking part. This is what I tell the kids. It's our thinking brain. It's the prefrontal cortex. It's where our rational thoughts and more deeper thinking is happening. And then right here we have the limbic system, and that is our regulatory part of our brain as well. It kind of helps us with the fight, flight, or freeze, and all the other, I think there's 3 more F's that they added since then. So that's how mindfulness works in the brain. And then we have something called the vagus nerve, and this is a nerve that goes behind the brain and it goes throughout our body. And so when we do some deep breathing and we really focus on that diaphragmatic breathing coming from the diaphragm and focusing on our mind and our body, it helps facilitate that calm through our whole body. And so when we stimulate the vagus nerve, it increases our calmness and our alertness, and lessens the feelings of like anxiety, the feel-good neurotransmitter serotonin, right? It's like a natural serotonin pill in a way, if you think of it that way. And so there's a few ways you can stimulate the vagus nerve by deep breathing. And you can also stimulate the vagus nerve. I don't know if y'all remember, if y'all were here with last year at Alvin Elementary. I did something called laughter yoga for family time one day, and talking about the vagus nerve and how we stimulate it. Well, the noise hum, okay, like we think typically of the meditation. That noise is actually stimulating the vagus nerve, which helps us calm down, and it helps our body stay in tune and maintain a balance. So even though it might seem silly, or the laughter yoga, ha 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 ha, even though it sounds fake at first, it's actually stimulating your vagus nerve, which increases your serotonin levels. So it helps you be happy in a sense. So how does it work? How does mindfulness work? We're just taking a pause. We're taking a break, and we're observing our thoughts and noticing our experiences, our emotional and our physical being. I know this sounds all in depth, but it truly can work. But we have to remind ourselves. Sometimes we have to set timers. If anybody has an Apple Watch and it goes off and it says, hey, you got to breathe. Hello, take a deep breath there. I've noticed that mine does that. I don't know if it's like when your heart rate goes up to a certain amount or it fills your pulse. But I haven't really researched that too much. But I feel like sometimes, like when I'm in higher stress levels, my watch actually tells me to breathe, and so I just stop and take a deep breath and relax a little bit. So sometimes you have to remind yourself and take that time for yourself. The first major part of mindfulness is noticing your thoughts and letting those go. So, as you know, we have negative thoughts that creep in. Sometimes it's uncontrollable and they just happen. If that's never happened to you, awesome. But I think most of us have probably had those moments where we have negative thoughts creep in. We have to say, you know what? That's not true. I need to stop that, right? We have to catch ourselves in that bias of distorted thinking. It says, can I see the needs involved? Is it something I've done before in my life? We have to let those feelings go. Like Elsa says, right? Just let it go. Let it go. The positives, you want to let those positive thoughts in and the negative thoughts out and do the best there. So grounded attention and hearing. I touched on grounding a little bit in the last one, but grounding attention to hearing, you just stay silent for just a second and you notice the noises around you. Right now I hear my fan. I hear my computer buzzing. I hear my breathing. So I want you to take a moment and do that for yourself as well. Very simple. Grounded attention and seeing, okay? So obviously we're focusing our sense of sight here. This is a beautiful picture. I absolutely love it. So I want you to think, and I want you to find 5 things in the picture that you notice. And I want you to take that time for yourself. And just stay in the moment. And focus on peace and breathing. Very simple strategy as well. Now we're going to focus on noticing the sensation and needs of the body. Okay, that sense of touch. And so you don't have to close your eyes, or you can close your eyes. It's totally up to you. And I want you to just notice your sensations in your body. There's a guided relaxation. I'm going to share a strategy, guided mindfulness and relaxation, where you can progressively tense your muscles and then relax them, and you can find the areas of stress in your body. I'm not going to do that right now for time's sake, but I will share something about that. It's very important to notice those things in your body as well. Bringing mindfulness into the day, eating, walking, driving. When you're doing everything, you can be mindful. When you're eating, be mindful of what you're eating. During the session, and I would have done this with everyone too, but they gave us a raisin and they just told us to hold it, and then they told a story about the raisin all the way from the beginning of this raisin and all the hard work and turmoil that little raisin went through in order to get into our hand. And it really makes you mindful of what you're eating and what it took for that food to get to you. So being mindful when we're eating. Walking, it's a very peaceful way to just kind of focus on grounding and focusing on the surroundings around us. When you're driving, be very careful with this one, but you don't want to be too mindful to where you're zoned off. But, instead of having road rage and letting people get under your skin when you're driving, just focus on what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're hearing, what you're tasting, what you're smelling, and focus on those 5 senses and be mindful in the day. So there's another strategy called RAIN when you're dealing with stronger emotions. And so we're going to walk through that real quick. So the first thing you would do, now this is when you're dealing with strong anger or strong emotions, fear, those kinds of things, anxiety. You want to recognize the emotion. Okay, what is it? Okay, let's just pretend it's anxiety. Okay. You want to accept it and allow the emotion. Emotions are normal. If we try to suppress them and push them away, it's not going to be good for you. So it's already in your body. It's already there. And so what we resist persist. So allow those emotions to happen. Accept it. Then we're going to investigate the sensations of the feeling in the body. I'm going to breathe them in and ask what they need. So, anxiety, what do you need? What do I need? What do I need right now? Because there is a reason I'm feeling this way. And then what are your needs? This too shall pass. So you want to share that emotion. So send yourself, and then loving, and we want to love ourselves and be kind to ourselves. So just let it rain. Just let it rain and accept those emotions, and then identify your needs and address those needs for yourself, because those strong emotions can take over. And when we try to suppress them and don't recognize them, it just leads to turmoil. It's like a volcano inside of us that's probably going to erupt one day. So just being mindful of that as well. Being with emotions and identifying needs. Okay, we want to make sure we need these things, right? We need fun. We need connection. We need to be heard or seen. We need space sometimes. We need movement. We need water. We have needs, and then we have emotions, and we have those needs as humans. And those are normal needs. Those are normal emotions. It's all normal. And we need to make sure we address those for ourselves in the ways that we need it. So here's a way to bring your self-acceptance and compassion. I love this. It says, may I accept that I am a human being, perfectly imperfect, just like everyone else. No one's perfect. It's okay. We make mistakes. May I accept my limitations and shortcomings. Everyone has them. May I accept that my energy is limited and that it needs to be recharged. Whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, you have to recharge yourself. Introverts just naturally get recharged by being by themselves. Extroverts get their energy from being around people. So whichever way you gain your energy, just make sure that you recharge for yourself. May I notice that it's all right not to be there for someone else until I am there for myself. It's not selfish. We talked about that in the self-care strategies. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others, and just allow that for yourself. And then the last one, may I accept that I sometimes stumble as a caregiver, and it's okay. We all make mistakes. It's all right. It's all right. Accept yourself. And be kind to yourself. Sometimes it's easier to be kind to other people and not as kind to ourselves. So make sure you're being mindful of that. So that is the end of that. Mindfulness is just one of those self-care strategies. It's simple, but it's hard to do sometimes. And just make sure you're taking that time for yourself and recharging, especially in times of high stress. So I will attach some more resources to help you practice mindfulness and some grounding and things like that. But thank you. I appreciate it. This is the end of our journey with the Emotional Backpack Project this year. And so I hope you enjoyed it and got something good from it, something that you can use for yourself. So thank y'all. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.